Long ago, the world was nothing more than an endless sea, cloaked in a boundless sky, reaching as far as could possibly be imagined. Then two great titans came into existence. The Bionis and the Mechonis. The Titans were locked in a timeless battle. Until at last, only their lifeless corpses remained. Eons have passed. Now, our world, this vast land stretching across the remains of the Bionis, is under attack from a relentless force known as the Mechon.
Retreat! Retreat! Get away from me! Retreat! No retreat! The Mecho's unknown! No! No!
They're advancing down our weak right flank. For a bunch of soulless machines, they seem to know a thing or two. But we'll see.
Young man, we've been given the order to retreat. We're pulling back the line to Colony 6. That's where we'll set up the last line of defense.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Any more time spent hanging around here, and we're done for.
Count me in. We gotta get out of here.
Or we can stay and fight.
What?
We may die if we take a stand here, but staying gives us the chance to change our destinies. We have the Monado. With this, the future is ours for the taking.
Stupid beast. Your body can't take any more of the Monado. I can tell by just looking at you.
Getting short-sighted in your old age, Dixon. I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm still in control.
I should have known I couldn't talk sense into a beast. Let's do this. I'm going with you. You'll need someone to drag your corpse home.
As long as you think you've still got the strength in you, old man.
Oi, you two! We've been ordered to pull back! I'm leaving!
Well, I say you're coming with us. What would we do without those?
The enemy's second wave is approaching!
It's now or never, Dunban. Let's show them what we got. We'll give them a warm Hom's welcome.
Acknowledged.
Yeah! Ha! What are they trying to prove? I'm not throwing my life away. No point dying in some godforsaken field. Nothing for it. I'll have to use Dunban as a decoy. Yeah, that should give me time to escape.
Hello everybody, Mr. Gear to you, and welcome to a very special G8RStreams. So today we're playing through
every Xenoblade game out there that's currently available, in celebration of Pyra coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I'm so excited for. So what we'll be doing in today's stream is that we'll be playing through each of the Xenoblade games for about half an hour or so before moving on to the next one. Think of it as something along the lines of a random number gaming stream, except we already know all the games we'll be playing. So right off the bat, we're playing as a Dunban, who's everybody's husband. I don't care who you are, you love Dunban, and there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, we're playing through this area, and we have some arts by activating the Monado. So we can only really do auto attacks right now while our arts recharge. We have a Buster, which we can use to attack Metcon. But the enchant will allow our party members to also attack too, because their weapons aren't really all that effective against Metcon armor. But the Buster is thankfully very effective against the Metcon attacks. That's pretty nice. So that one's taken care of, and now we can go over here. So yeah, the basic idea behind the combat of Xenoblade is it's like a strategy to figure out where exactly you're going to be placing your character as you continuously fight. Not so much with this tutorial battle, but we'll see more arts later down the line where we'll need to be in like very specific spots to be able to deal the most damage. So we'll see examples of that before the end of the stream, so that's going to be pretty fun. Now, Xenoblade is a game that I've been wanting to Let's Play forever. I absolutely love this game. It's literally within like the top 5 favorite RPGs of all time. In fact, it's probably within the top 5 favorite games of all time, just in general. So I've wanted to Let's Play this game for years, but every Xenoblade game ever, even Torn of the Golden Country, they're all absolutely massive and would take a long time to plan out. So yeah, with our current major project being Breath of the Wild, I don't know how much time I'd have to be able to plan out a Xenoblade Let's Play, and it may take a little while for one to actually happen, even after I do plan one out. So I don't know when one could happen, but I'd love for it to appear someday. But as for right now, I'm going to shut up because this cutscene is awesome.
Joke, it ain't funny. Looks like this is it. At least we know our luck can't get any worse from here. Dunban?
Dixon, take care of the survivors.
Dunban, what are you playing at?
Those idiots. I'll just come and get the Monado when everything's quieted down a bit. That thing's gonna be mine!
Oh no, please! No!
Vile Mekon. If you think the Homs, the people of Bionis, are just waiting here for you to pick us off, you are sorely mistaken.
That is the coolest way any logo has ever appeared on screen in anything ever, and will be the coolest thing in the history of anything. I love this game so much!
A Mechon M71. I bet I can use its optical system to align one of the anti-air batteries. Oh, no good. It's broken. The joint section. It's buckled. It's completely useless. Ugh. Huh? An M69! Its armor would be perfect for making a shield. If I can just get it off, I should be able to... Shoot! Ryan! It's not a Mechon. It's just a Crabble. It was using the Mechon armor as a shell.
I'll lure it away and topple it. When it's down, use your arts to finish it off.
The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. Pizza, pizza, boom, 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 pizza, boom, boom, pizza. Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza, yeah, for you and me. That's what I thought when the first time that I saw this enemy and it was called a Crabble. I don't know why, but it's always stuck out to me whenever I play through this. But yeah, defeating the Crabble will give us a treasure chest we can open, and that's going to be pretty fancy indeed. But with all that taken care of, now we'll be facing another enemy. So the green ring circly thingy means we can't leave here until we defeat all the enemies, but it's not too bad. So what I was saying earlier about certain arts being more effective at very specific spots, it's explaining that in the tutorial, but I just explained it myself. So what you want to do during these kind of battles is Ryan is going to be the one you want to have the enemies attacking. He has attacks that can do an effect called aggro. Basically what that means is that enemies will be focusing more on him rather than Shulk, which is a good thing for us because Shulk isn't really all that good against surviving that long. He's kind of like a glass cannon, if you will, where he could do amazing damage, but he doesn't last very long if he's constantly being attacked. So we'll get more into that in a moment after this cutscene, though.
At least you'll make a decent weapon out of it. This scrap driver's excellent.
I just learned by watching Dixon make weapons.
Of course, Dunban's weapon still beats them all.
The Monado. I hope I can figure out the secret of his power one day.
You will, Shulk. Anyway, we better get back to the colony. If I'm late for drills again, old Square Tash is gonna kill me.
Square Tash? Oh, the Defense Force Colonel. He's pretty scary.
Tell me about it.
Sorry, I didn't mean for you to come all the way out here during your break.
Don't worry about it. Let's get back.
Alright, so this right here is basically explaining something I can explain in a moment. Go away, tutorials! So, the mini-map on the top right of the corner, that will give you... That would basically give you like a path you could take to do stuff. I apologize that I have hiccups right now. I just ate lunch before I start recording this, and I have hiccups. Go away, hiccups. Alright, so, yeah, that'll give you a path to where you need to go. Now, this area may seem a little bit on the linear side, but trust me, it doesn't stay that way for long. So we're getting into another battle so I can explain the combat just a little bit further. So we could see that when we're behind the enemy, there's a little blue exclamation point next to this art backslash, meaning that we're at just the right position where we'll deal more damage. So with backslash, we'll do a lot more damage if we're behind the enemy. But if the aggro is on choke, then the enemy is going to be facing them the entire time, which will make it difficult for us to get into the right position to do our attacks. The turn strike attack, this will inflict a status called break, and that's basically part one of a chain of status effects you can inflict on an enemy. It's a little difficult to explain, but once you start playing the game for yourself, it'll make sense in no time. Basically, you want to have a party that can start with a break, because most topple arts will only work if the enemy is already suffering break. Rhine has an art like that, so that's a big reason why Shulk and Rhine are a good match in battles and things like that. We'll see more like that, well, not in this stream, but throughout the game there will be a bunch of other things like that. There are, of course, other ways to topple enemies as well, but having a pair that can break and then topple is usually the best way to go. And there's also another status effect, I believe, called Daze, that you can do where if the enemy is toppled, you can daze them and things like that. This is great for stopping very powerful attacks a little bit later in the game, and it's going to be very crucial to learn for some of the more challenging boss fights later.
Here we are. I better stop in at HQ. You off to the weapon development lab? Yeah, when I've sold any parts I can't use. All right. See you later.
We're all alone now. So, going back, getting out of these menus. So, going into our map real quick. Now, this is kind of like, the map system works similar to Chrono Trigger, where it only fills in areas you've seen yourself. So, right now, we can't really see how big this area is, but I just want to point out something really, really cool. So, it's a little hard to see from here, but when we go back into this menu, you'll see this red dot on the silhouette of the Bionis. The world of Xenoblade takes place on the Titan, the Bionis. So every landmark that you see takes place on some point of the body. This is the back of the right knee, if I remember correctly. This is the back of the right leg, so everything you see here, all those cliffs and things like that, everything in this town, it's all on just the leg of the Bionis, and that's just really cool. So going back into this menu, you can see it really is just one point of this area. So we'll be able to explore things like the head, the back, and things like that. One of my personal favorite locations we'll be seeing a little bit later is the right arm. I think that's where it is. After we get through a little bit more story progress, we'll be switching over save files over to my own personal playthrough. But we're not going to be seeing too much of there because I don't want to spoil too much of the game. But there are a few landmarks that I would like to show on stream because of some of my personal favorite locations in the game. So I'm going around this area real quick, backtracking just ever so slightly, because we can go over here and we can see Dunban's house. So Dunban was the character that we met at the very beginning of the game, so that's pretty neat. The red orb we got right there, that's important for side quests and things like that. So I just gotta say, I absolutely love this house. I love the design of it too. It just looks so nice, and there's a walkway right here. I always liked buildings that had a thing like this where the building's directly above you and you can walk under and things like that. I always liked buildings like that. So we continue across this here. The commercial district has a lot of shops where you can buy stuff and things like that. I'm not going to be buying anything right now because we don't need to, because we're not going to be playing too far in the beginning. This guy has a side quest because they have an explanation. Wait, are you a guy or a girl? I think you're a lady. Yeah, that person, they have a side quest because they have an exclamation point over their head and things like that. So that's pretty interesting. There are a lot of side quests in this game. 480 to be exact. I don't think the Definitive Edition added any more. This version definitely did add some new content to the game. I believe there's a new challenge mode, which is kind of neat. And one of these new things that they added to this version of the game is something we'll be seeing a little bit later in stream. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun. So there's a bunch of stuff you can explore as we go across this area, but we're not gonna be focusing on that too much right now because we don't want to spend too much time on this segment because we do have a bunch of other games to go through on stream. So that's gonna be pretty amusing indeed. So we go over here, and I just love this area so much. I thought this game looked great on the Wii version, but man, it just looks absolutely gorgeous on Switch. I'm so glad that they made an HD version of this game. And coming up real quick is probably one of my favorite moments in the beginning of the game. I never get tired of seeing this, so once again, I'm going to shut up so we can witness its awesomeness.
What the hell are you playing at?
Uh-oh. The Colonel's gonna explode.
Crashing the mobile artillery into a house. How long have you been in the force?
Sorry, sir. It's just that we were trying to go as fast as we could, like you ordered. But it's impossible to get back to the military district in only 40 seconds.
I don't want any excuses. Champions don't whine. They win.
Yes, sir.
You're a disgrace to the uniform. Are you forgetting the shame you brought on this force during joint maneuvers with Colony 6? Stick your back into it, maggots! Move it!
Yes, sir.
Get the artillery back to the military district, double time! Then I want 1,000,000 press-ups from both of you, and you better not stop until your biceps explode!
Colonel, we can't move the artillery.
What? You better give a damn good reason why.
Sir, the impact of the crash damaged the ether conduction cable. The ether fuel proceeded to leak out, and now the cylinder is empty.
Well, change the cylinder then. Can't you even do something as simple as that?
The auxiliary cylinders have all been used up. It'll be 3 days until more come in, sir.
I told you to keep a stock of fuel in reserve.
Sorry, sir.
You're nothing but slackers!
Same old Colonel. At this rate, the men will all be dead before they see any action.
I never get tired of that moment. It's so great. There's animation and his mustache. It's all perfect. So, yeah, there's a couple more side quests in this area that we could do, but we're going to be completely ignoring as we go across this area. But I'm just going to look around a little bit because I don't really explore this area too much on my own time. So I just want to see if there's anything interesting. I know there's one thing that's definitely worth mentioning over there, but I just want to see what's over here, if there's anything cool and things like that. So let's go over here. It doesn't look like anything. I thought that guy looked like Von Gar for a moment. So, but that wasn't him. Can we see him in this area? I don't think we can, but I'm curious if we can find him anywhere. I'm not gonna spend too much time looking for that though. So if you ever get lost as you go across this area, then the yellow dots on the map will always point you in the right direction. It's very useful because this is a very massive world, so it could be very easy to lose your way as you try and go across this place. So I remember there being side quests in this particular alley partway through the game, but it doesn't look like they're available to us at the moment. So that's pretty amusing indeed. And now look, it's a tree texture in an RPG, and it actually looks like a modern day tree. Taking up, Pokemon. Alright, we go over this way. Oh, he's still here, so let's talk to him. Put your backs into it. Gotta move on, you maggots. I will collect the ether cylinders at once, Colonel. I'll be more careful next time, Colonel. I just love that so much. These things right here, I gotta say, they remind me of the tanks in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, the ones that carried the. I think they were the gun tanks that carried the blue bomb exploding thingies. I don't remember what they're called exactly, but they just make me think of Star Wars. So we go over here, and a really cool detail that I absolutely love is that we could see these people doing their push-up routines and things like that. But more importantly, we can see Ryan is actually here working out with them as well. So that's pretty interesting. I struggle with push-ups. Like, I could do most workout routines perfectly fine, but push-ups are like my one big weakness when it comes to trying to work out and things like that. My wrist always hurts afterwards, and I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or anything like that, but yeah, push-ups are like my one big weakness when it comes to trying to work out. This right here, this is a Nopon, so it's pretty adorable, and it's circular and kind of looks squishy. Shulk sneezed. He sneezed into his hand, too. That's gross. Sneeze into your arm next time.
All right, Shulk? How are you?
Dixon! When did you get back to Colony 9?
Just now. I see you've been busy. Looks like your Monado research has been going well. I made the right choice leaving you in charge.
Your research notes really helped.
So, you can activate it now then?
Well, anyone can activate it. The problem is controlling it.
Yeah, for everyone except him.
Yes. If anyone other than Dunban were able to control the Monado, we could surpass any military force in the world.
You think so? What are these hidden functions you mention?
It's still only conjecture, but it's starting to look like the Monado might be something far more significant than just a weapon for defeating Mechon.
I see. And the evidence to support your theory?
It's the symbol that appears in the center when it's activated. What I know is, the central piece is made from multi-layered glass. The symbol appears on the top layer, and each layer is constructed differently.
So it's possible that other symbols could appear on different layers.
Which means...
the Monado might conceal even more power. Am I right?
if we could just... unlock the Monado's power.
Dunban! Dunban!
Prioritize the most severely injured! Come on, get a move on! Dunban!
Don't look like that. I haven't come yet. Shulk. It was the Monado. It was controlling me. Even so, it saved us. Saved our future. Next, it will be up to you.
Dunban.
Well, I better get the supplies delivered to the defense force. I'll drop round the HQ and see how they're getting on.
Okay then. I'll see you later.
Shulk, you're spending too much time in the lab. Either that or rummaging for junk in the scrapyard. It ain't healthy for a kid your age. That's why you're always looking so pasty. You should get out, get some fresh air once in a while. All right, I'm off.
Is it time to eat already? You didn't have to bring it yourself. You could have just called me.
Don't be silly. Do you want me to feed you?
Don't treat me like an invalid. I'm better than I was a year ago.
Much better. I really thought I lost you back then.
Yes, but now I'm almost well enough to handle the Monado again.
Dunban, don't say that. The Meccan have gone now. Oh, why would you say that?
I just mean I'm prepared. Sorry.
Okay. More importantly, eat up before it gets cold. I made something really special today.
Don't feel like you need to stay here then, Fiora. Go and make your next delivery.
Huh?
Well, I'm sure you'd like Shulk to try some while it's still hot.
That's okay. Shulk has no sense of taste. He'll say it's delicious even if it's stone cold.
In which case, today he would actually mean it.
Maybe.
I'm fine, Fiora. Off you go.
Okay. Dunban, thanks.
I'm not finished yet. I have to be prepared to use the Monado again.
Alright, so this is about pretty much as far as we'll be playing into this part of Xenoblade, but we're going to be exploring just a little bit more before we move on. We can go back up here and explore a little bit more of Dunban's house and things like that. There's a door over here that we can never go through, and it bothers me. I want to know what's inside. It's probably Fiora's room or something like that, but I want to go inside. Alright, well, we can also see some books and things like that. Is it possible to translate these? Like, are they like an actual language we can read or something like that? I don't know. But we can go over here and talk to Dunban. What's up? Are you taking some food for Shulk? You better hurry up. It won't taste very nice if it gets cold. He can get it himself. He's a big boy. So, one thing I really love is that I just love all the swords you can see. Because just look at all these swords. They're so cool. Dunban, can I be like you when I grow up? Dunban is one of my favorite characters in RPGs in general, and I have a lot of respect for him for a lot of things throughout the game, but one big thing is that he manages to keep a six-pack while bedridden for a year. That's not easy to do. A detail I also really like is that you could see this right here. This is the same painting as it was on the Wii version, but this right here was a painting of an originally unused location in the game, the Bionis shoulder. We'll be going over that a little bit more in the stream towards not this part of it, but yeah, we're going to continue on just a little bit more. And I'm probably going to be saying that for the next couple hours, and we'll never get around to the next couple Xenoblade games, but yeah, I just absolutely love Xenoblade, so I could talk about this forever.
I just thought I'd take Shulk some food. I'm on my way to the lab.
Shulk's not there right now.
Really?
I just sent him out to get some fresh air. You know where he'll have gone.
Outlet Park.
That's the one.
Okay. Thanks, Dixon.
Alright, let's move onward. So, yeah. After this next cutscene, we'll finally move on. Ooh, shiny. Okay. One thing that scares me about the idea of trying to let's play this game is not necessarily the fact that this is a huge game. It's the fact that there are blue shiny things everywhere and I have to collect every single one of them. So I fear that if I do try to let's play this game, I'm never going to get anything done because I'm going to get distracted by the blue shiny things all the time. So, yeah, these blue shiny things, they are part of a system called the Collectopedia. Basically, think of it as like the Hyrule Compendium from the Zelda Breath of the Wild, if you want an example from a Let's Play we're doing recently, where the blue shiny thingies, well, it might be better to show rather than tell. So, collectibles right here, we can go here and go into Collectopedia. So, there are several types of items throughout this area. There's veggies, fruits, flowers, bugs, parts, and strange things. The categories will be different depending on the area that we're in. And filling out the Collectopedia will give you special rewards and things like that. Now, I never really go out of my way to get every single one of them, but there was one specific area that I went out of my way to 100% with the Collectopedia, and it's kind of a silly reason why, but it'll make more sense when we start talking about future connected stuff. So, yeah, we'll be going on over here, and one of the most fun features about this game is the fact that if you press up on the D-pad, the character will keep on running even when you're not controlling the character themselves, so people suffering Joy-Con drift, you finally get a game you can play. So, yeah, we continue getting these blue shiny thingies, and we could continue on over there, but I really do also just want to kind of move on from the opening of this game. So what we'll be doing next is, well, I should explain that there's another cutscene up here with Shulk and things like that, and we have actually demonstrated that cutscene on this channel before. During the first year of the 12 Days of Gaming, we did a video on Xenoblade Chronicles. So that's pretty fun, but oh, I was gonna stop right before we got to the park, but I guess we're gonna be watching the cutscene anyway.
It's the only sword that's effective against the Mechon armor. They say that before time began, it was wielded by the Bionis. The same Bionis that we all live on. It must have a secret. That's how Dunban was able to destroy so many Mechon. And why he lost the use of his right arm. If I can just unlock the secret of its power.
Shulk!
Fiora! This is great. It tastes so good.
Really?
It's amazing.
Oh, Shulk, you say that every day.
Not quite. It's always delicious, but today it's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. I used some special herbs and spices today. So if you said it was just the same as usual, I'd know for sure you had no sense of taste.
What?
Oh, nothing. The breeze feels so good.
Yeah. I'd forgotten what it feels like. I never thought it could be so quiet here.
You're spending too much time with Ryan. You're getting used to all the noise he makes.
Yeah, maybe.
It's so peaceful. You know, Shulk, I hope every day can be like this, always.
Huh? The debris siren.
Strange. There hasn't been much falling lately.
There might be more on the way. The anti-air batteries can't protect us out here. Let's get back to the lab.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're wondering why I keep taking a moment to go back to commentary and things like that, when I'm in my microphone for cutscenes, I turn the TV up so I can listen to it and things like that. So, It's amusing and things like that. Heart to heart right here. We're not going to be doing that because I don't feel like it. And because we already made it this far, we might as well just go just a little bit further, because I believe this next cutscene has some pretty interesting things with it. So we might as well just go a little bit further. So, one thing I gotta say about this game is that, like, I always loved the character designs in the original version, but that specific scene on the Wii version used to bother me, because Fiora, she's a really fun character, and she's super cute and things like that, but something about her face just looked off about how they animated her in that specific cutscene. Everywhere else in the game, she looks fine, but that specific cutscene, something about her face always bothered me. And it might be a horrible thing to say, but that's just what it was like back then. But thankfully, whatever the issue was, it was fixed in this version. And what do you guys say this real quick? Fiora's hot. Xenoblade in general just has a lot of really hot characters and things like that. Fiora is definitely one of them. And that's the second person who's come online to my Switch friend list. I gotta remember to keep turning that thing off whenever I record these things with you using my own account. But anyway, yeah. But I wouldn't say Fiora is my Xenoblade waifu. In this game specifically, there's one character who I would say is my waifu. And Fiora is great and all, but there's this one character that I like just a little bit more than Fiora. So that's interesting, sort of, kind of, maybe, perhaps. Now, there is one thing about Fiora that I don't particularly care that much for, and I can't explain the reason why, because of spoilers, but if I ever Let's Play this game, then that will be the time where I can talk about that and stuff like that, which I really, really want to Let's Play this game someday, but it's absolutely massive, and we're already doing Breath of the Wild. Ryan is over there, we can already see him, so can we... Are the people still working on the courtyard? I'm curious about this. I don't think I've ever actually checked that before. So we can go over this way, continue onwards and things like that, and eventually we'll be able to get over there, eventually, maybe, sort of, kind of. Nope, it's empty. Okay. Alright, so that was a waste of everybody's time. You're welcome. And one other minor improvement that I gotta say that I really appreciate is that in the original Wii version, the character running animations, like, they were fine and all, but it didn't really feel like they were actually moving around the ground. They just looked like a walking animation, just barely over a ground texture and things like that. In this version, they changed it ever so slightly, so it actually feels like they're walking on solid ground, specifically Shulk. So that's one thing that I definitely do appreciate with this version of the game.
What are you doing?
Shulk! No, I'm just... Fiora, are you okay?
I'm fine.
It's broken.
What? What do you mean it's broken? Don't you care about me? I could have died.
You're not hurt, are you? The Monado can't cut people. More importantly, what were you thinking, Ryan?
Sorry, I came to ask a favor, but you weren't here. And I saw the Monado and...
I know I'm here a lot, but even I need fresh air sometimes. Is your body still feeling numb? We have to be very careful with the Monado. It's not a toy.
I know, man. I just wanted to touch it. Didn't know it would do that. Sorry. But is it true? The Monado really can't cut people?
The pattern in that circle. Or maybe it's a symbol. I think it shows which power the Monado has at the moment.
You think it's... a symbol?
Well, if I can find a way to increase the number of symbols, I should.
I'm sure that's all very clever. But why were you more worried about a machine than me, Shulk?
Well, I just explained why.
That's not the point!
Sorry.
Look at you, worthless without the Monado.
Until I've scrapped each and every one of you!
So, of course, I want to get my revenge.
Your blade, it did not cut deep enough.
Shulk! Shulk!
What on Bionis happened there?
Ryan, Fiora,
Are you okay? Does it hurt?
no. Ryan, when you held the Monado, did you see anything?
You know, like a blue blade made of light came out. Same as just now.
I don't mean that. A feeling like time had stopped, and then...
Time had stopped.
So, was it only me who saw that?
That sounds strange. Is it another Monado thing?
Who knows? Anyway, no matter how good a sword it is, that's what happens when you hold it. Looks like Dunban really is the only one who can use it.
I won't let my brother use it ever again. Not after what it did to him.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
Anyway, the point is I'm fine. To be honest, this has happened a few times before. I've been researching the Monado for a long time.
Shulk, don't act as if this is nothing.
Look, don't worry about it. Anyway, Ryan, what did you want to ask me about?
Oh, yeah, old Square Tash has gone and put me on punishment duty. Fancy tagging along?
Punishment? The Colonel was pretty angry today. Did he hit you?
Well, whether he hit me is neither here nor there, really. Although, actually, he did end up hitting me. And that ain't all. He made me do 1,000 squats and sit-ups.
Whoa, nasty.
Yeah. And now I have to go all the way to the Magmel ruins and back.
So you have to go and collect the ether cylinders.
That's the one. They're used to power the mobile artillery. Looks like the damage has been repaired. They can't move without the ether energy. And it seems like the fueling station's all out of stock.
Is the mobile artillery that big machine that crashed in the residential district?
Yeah, probably.
You know your way around there, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with you.
Yeah. Knew you would.
Hold on. The Magmel ruins are in Tephra Cave, right? I heard that there's a Mel lizard nest there. I couldn't take it if anything happened to Shulk. He's delicate. Not like you, Ryan.
What are you on about?
I'll be fine. I can take care of myself.
But...
Okay, I got it. I'll make you a promise. Shulk won't even get a scratch.
a promise doesn't mean much coming from you.
She don't trust me at all.
Nah, she doesn't mean it.
Alright, so one last thing that I would like to point out before we switch save files and things like that. I really like the detail that you can still see the damage that Ryan caused to the machines in these areas. They didn't have to keep that there in the modeling and things like that, but they did. It's an amazing attention to detail. We can even see this is still broken and things like that. Ah, this game is so good. Ooh, we can see swords and shields and stuff like that. And wait. Oh wait, I just noticed. I never noticed this before, but the sword on the far right, that's the exact one that Shulk is using. So that's like a little prototype thingy. The thing on the left too, those are Ryan's weapons right now. I never noticed that before. That is so cool. Okay, this is one of those games where you can play through it like dozens of times. Which, by the way, how would you ever find the time to do that, considering how long this game is? But you can play through this game dozens of times and still see new details every single time that you play through this game. It is great. But with all that being said, we are now going to be switching over to the magical land of alternate save file to demonstrate something else pretty cool. But to do that, I'm going to need to switch over to intermission screen real quick so that it doesn't spoil anything on the loading screen or anything like that. So, as we go across this area, I would like to warn that I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilers going forward. Something might slip though, and if it does, I do apologize. I have an idea of where I'm going to prevent it, but something might slip because I am pretty late into the game. So I'm mostly going to be taking this time to explore some of my more personal favorite regions from fairly early on in the game. What we're going to be seeing right now is nothing you wouldn't see on your own time within the first 10 hours or so of Xenoblade. So switch back over to this screen. What? I guess I selected the wrong profile. Let's try that again. By the way, if you wanted to see what games I was playing recently. Switching back to intermission screen. So as we go through this area, I guess I could take this time to explain my story of how I came across the Xenoblade series. So, I'd heard the name Xenoblade for a little while, because there were all these articles across Nintendo websites talking about Operation Rainfall and things like that. More specifically discussing how people really wanted these 3 specific Wii RPGs to get localized for North America, and I thought it was pretty cool. Back then, I wasn't that into RPGs as much as I am nowadays, so I didn't really look too much into it. But then, during Joe Conray's Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, he was thanking the people of Europe for helping make Xenoblade appear in North America and things like that. He was thanking the people of Europe for buying it and convincing Nintendo of America to localize the game. So that's where I first really started hearing about Xenoblade. I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? That's where I really first started to hear about Xenoblade Chronicles. So after that, I was looking into it a bit more and I thought, oh, this game actually seems pretty fun. So I'm going to give it a try when it comes out. So the weekend that it comes out, I don't think it was the exact day that it launched, but the week that it came out, I went to GameStop to go get the game. And this is like the most lucky that I've ever been at a game store. But I had the $60 with me to get the game. And I believe they were charging $60 for Xenoblade Chronicles when it first came out on the Wii, at least in my area. So the copy that I got was pre-owned. Somebody got it and returned it, and GameStop had discounted it to $50, so I had the remaining $10 to get some other game, which I used to get Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So yeah, I got it for a little bit cheaper than most people did around that time, which I feel incredibly lucky for, because, not exaggerating, less than a week after that, I went back to that same GameStop for another game. I don't remember what it was at the time. I think it was Kirby. But I went back to that same GameStop and they started charging $90 for Xenoblade Chronicles. The reason for that is because Nintendo of America only shipped 1 shipment of Xenoblade to North America. I don't know if The Last Story or Pandora's Tower had the same problems. I know Pandora's Tower is a little hard to come by, at least with the physical copy. I assume the same is the case for Last Story as well. But yeah, only shipped once, GameStop exclusive. They started charging $90 not too long after it launched. So this was easily one of the most rare Wii games of all time. At least for a while. I don't know if it's still that hard to come by nowadays, but I imagine the price has significantly dropped since Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, and of course this version as well. So yeah, this game has a bit of a rough history, but with the Nintendo Switch being a thing, this got an HD re-release, and people can now enjoy its awesomeness, and it's awesome. So I came up here specifically because I wanted to... I was trying to jump over the fence to go to the cliff so I can demonstrate that a bit clearer. Well, thankfully we have skip travel. Alright. Thank goodness for convenience. So, that over there, way off in the distance, right here. That is where Shulk was at the very beginning of the game when we first started our adventure. He walked through this valley over here, and then out over there into Colony 9. So that should give you a good idea of just how big this area is. And just remember, this is only the back of the leg of the Bionis. This is nowhere near as big as the rest of the game. And let's demonstrate some of them, shall we? So, the next area that I would like to go to, I'm going to go to the Bionis leg. So we'll be going over here. Now, there is one cliff that I really want to demonstrate right now, but I can't. Because I'm at a point in the game where if I demonstrate, well, ooh, it's raining now. So basically what I wanted to show was if you stand on a specific cliff, it's at the very edge of the kneecap of the Bionis, you'll be able to see the Mechonis off in the distance. But if I were to go there right now at this exact moment, it's going to spoil stuff. So I gotta be very careful about what I'm showing right now. As it is, my party probably isn't the best in terms of not spoiling stuff, but you already know Dunban's in the party if you played Smash Brothers, and everybody loves Melia, so, yeah. So, yeah, we can see that it's raining and stuff like that. This right here, this is the Gyre Plains. So, this is the main stage for Shulk in Super Smash Brothers. Now, personally, this isn't what I would have chosen to be the main stage for Xenoblade Chronicles, if it was completely up to me on what would have been the stage. Personally, I would have gone with either like Colony 9 or the Earth Sea or things like that. But Gyre Plains is still a pretty good location. I absolutely love the music here. It's absolutely phenomenal. So this right here just really paves the way for how the level design is going to be like going forward. Because even though Colony 9 was a pretty big and open area, it was still very limiting. You literally had walls all around you, limiting where you could go and things like that, but not here. Well, for the most part. This right here, this is like a big open plain for you to do whatever you want. There's tons of monsters here for you to fight for level grinding side quests and things like that, so that's going to be pretty fun. And all in all, it's just really fun. Now, something funny is that I sucked at this game when I first started playing Xenoblade. I was terrible at the combat system. I'd spam arts, trying to get things done as quickly as possible when that's not what you're supposed to do. I didn't understand a lot of the basic mechanics of this game, so I was like easily like one of the worst Xenoblade players ever. So it took me a long time to figure out some of these bosses and things like that. Like I remember it took like, I want to say like 3 or 4 months for me to be able to reach a character named Zord. So I won't go into too much about that because of spoilers, but yeah, that took me a good few months to get to. But when I got this game on Switch, that took me like 2 days to get to. So yeah, it took several years for me to finish the Wii version, but now at this point, I could probably finish the game in a week if I want to. There are a few other games that I'm playing right now that I would like to also play. I'm not one of those people who can just sit down and play through and marathon a game. I go back and forth between a lot of different games at a time, and so that's kind of the reason why it takes me a while to finish games. There are a few exceptions to that. I did binge play through like half of Tomb Raider 2013 on my first playthrough of that game, even if I was complaining about it most of the time. And Batman Arkham Asylum was another one. Well, both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I binged both of those games when I first started playing through them and things like that. So, yeah, that's a pretty amusing story if I do say so myself. My problem with games is that, and this is very silly, but my problem with games is that if I see a point where I think I'm going to get to the end of it, I just stop playing because I don't want it to end. Like, I remember my first playthrough of Wind Waker, I stopped playing for a month towards the end of the game because I didn't want it to end. So Yeah, and that was my problem with Xenoblade specifically because, again, trying to avoid as many spoilers as I possibly can, this game ends like 3 times. There are 3 points, well, more than that, but there are 3 specific points where it feels like the game could have ended. This is basically like an entire trilogy into one game. So, yeah, this game is absolutely massive and it's awesome. We want to avoid these people because I believe they are stronger in thunderstorms or things like that. They're definitely stronger than us right now because they have a higher level. But I'm pretty sure if we had casual mode turned on, then we probably could fight them. They don't seem too aggressive to us at the moment. But if they are, they could just jump into the water and we should be okay. You do want to be careful in this area though, anyway. Those icons on top of their heads, that tells you that they are vision-based monsters. There are 2 types. There are 2 ways that a monster can find you in this game. There's vision and hearing-based. It's pretty self-explanatory, but just for the sake of explaining it anyway, I'm just going to do that anyway. So, vision-based monsters, if they spot you, they will follow you around. So you have to sneak up around them and things like that. And we haven't seen a hearing-based monster yet. There definitely are across the Gyro Plains, but those ones you have to walk very slowly around them because if they hear you, then they'll start chasing you. So that's something that's a little bit on the unfortunate side. So we're going to go over here. There's a shiny green thingy over there, and I must head over there. This right here, this is a great way to get away from monsters because it seems like the law of Xenoblade that if you start climbing on a vine, you are perfectly immortal and nothing can harm you, and it is awesome. So I believe this is how you'll get back up to the cliffs if you fall down in the water and things like that, so that's pretty convenient. I never actually knew this was here, so again, another one of those things where I played through this game and seen through the entirety of it so many times, but I'm still finding new things. Alright, so head over here. Is there anything on top of this cliff? I assume there might be something. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we're already an hour into the stream, and I said that we'd only spend half an hour on these games. So if this is going to be the case for the rest of the Xenoblade games we'll be covering in today's stream, then this might be a long one. So yeah, I don't want this to go on for too long, but yeah, that is one thing that is one thing that you might want to keep in mind. I also do apologize if my voice sounds a bit off today. There's a couple reasons for that. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather right now because I only got like 2 hours of sleep. Basically, long story short, I'm working on a really, really big project. Not necessarily about Let's Plays or anything like that. It's a very different type of project that's somewhat related, kind of. I'm working on a very big project that's taking a lot of hours of my time to work on every day. And I spent too much time working on it last night. So that's not really that good of a thing. And also, it was also one of those nights where if you live in Oregon or any northern state like that, then you're going to experience this. But it was freezing in the middle of the night. But then when I woke up, it was boiling hot. So I had too many blankets on me when I woke up. And yeah, I don't think I have a fever or anything like that. But I just feel slightly under the weather, so I do apologize if my voice isn't as manly and sexy as it usually is. That was a horrible voice. I apologize for that. Alright then. So, well, that person's playing Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is going to be the perfect segue to talk about the fact that Pyra and Mythra are going to be in Super Smash Bros. And it makes me so happy. I'm so excited! Okay, that is literally the most excited I've ever been for a Smash character ever. Inkling is a very close second. Sephiroth was also pretty cool. Joker was an amazing surprise. But Pyra and Mythra, that makes me so happy. I'm so excited for that. If they do an event like what they did with Sephiroth, where you'll be able to play as him, or if you did a challenge, if they do something like that with Pyra, then I would definitely try to stream that too. But this right here, this is a crystal thingy. We can use these to craft gemstones, which will basically give us buffs and things like that in battle, which are definitely going to be useful. So I believe there's one that can make you run faster, and that's personally one of my personal favorites, because I really wish there was a run button in this game. There's a run button in Xenoblade X, but there isn't one in this game, and it drives me crazy. So after we look at the night sky and all of its pretty gloriousness and awesomeness, it's so pretty, I love this game. After we check that out, we are going to be moving on from the Bionis Leg and moving on to Machina Forest. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but there's one specific point of this place that I like to demonstrate because I love this area so much. It's so pretty and things like that. It's so cool. Alright. Hello, the James Rose. Thank you for coming. James Rose says, I really love the look of Xenoblade on Switch. Great improvement from the Wii. Yeah, I've always loved how it looked on Wii. I bumped into a wall because I was reading Stream Chat. I've always loved how it looked on Wii, and I stand by my opinion that the Wii version still looks good. But seeing the HD prettiness and things like that on Switch, I'm really happy they did this, because the art style is just absolutely gorgeous, and it was unfortunate that it was locked behind a 480p resolution all those years, but now we can enjoy its awesome prettiness and HD and stuff like that. So we head over this way, and we'll be able to get to see one of my favorite points in the entire game. Boom! Lava Kami! Kind of. I don't think we can go by those waterfalls, but there is stuff near the waterfall, so it's kind of like the law of Okami. It's the unspoken rule of Okami, if you will. But yeah, this is one of my favorite places in the entire game. It's just so gorgeous. Look at all these waterfalls. This is so pretty. We can go down there if we want, and there's plenty of stuff for you to do. Down the river over there, so there's plenty of stuff for you to do if you'd like. I think there is stuff by the waterfalls, but I don't want to go over there because I don't feel like it. I will go across the bridge though, because this area is also pretty cool, so we'll go over to here, and auto run! Yay! Now we can move the camera and create a super pretty dynamic camera angle for us to upload onto Twitter and things like that after the stream or something like that. Except not really, because Shulk's not perfectly aligned with that. We'll try that again. I spent way too much time trying to get perfect shots like that. So if we go over here, we can look up there and see the Frontier Village. That's the home of the Nopon and things like that. It's very gorgeous, but it also kind of needs a 3D depth slider. And I believe that up there, that's the Aerith Sea. We'll go up there in a moment, but as for right now, let's go like this, and take number 2. The waterfall is so pretty. I love the red mist you could see across this area. I believe that's supposed to be ether and things like that, so that's pretty neat. My favorite site is this area with the waterfall, because that's just absolutely gorgeous. In the original gaming gallery that I made for Xenoblade, I used that shot of this area of the waterfall as the final shot in that video, and that was really fun. What wasn't fun was the fact that I was a big dumb dummy head when I made that video. So, basically, long story short, first of all, I'm going to go over here. Next up, we're going to be going to Aerith Sea. So, my editing decisions for that original gaming gallery were stupid. The new one that we have on the game channel, the updated one that we did not too long ago, that one is much better. I really liked how that one turned out, and Night Saga did an amazing job with his narration in that video. The original one on my channel that I narrated was horrible. If you want an idea, not joking, there's one point where I'm talking about some beta elements, and I'm trying to be vague and cryptic about spoilers and things like that, and I say, and I quote, without going into too much detail because of spoilers, or something along those lines, I don't remember exactly what I said, but basically I was trying to avoid talking about spoilers, but on screen is the last party member, front and center, in an area towards the end of the game. That is the worst editing decision that I have ever made in my 9 years of being on YouTube. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that, but yeah, that is one thing that always hurts whenever I look back on it. So that's a big reason why, that and a lot of other reasons was a big reason why I unlisted my original gaming gallery videos. But the big reason is that I want people to watch the newer ones that we do, because those new ones are way, way better than any of the ones that I made. Well, I say that, but I'm also the one who edits all those gaming gallery videos. I mean, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles. Let's talk about this for a bit. So this right here, this is the head of the Bionis, and it's pretty fun. I like this area. It's pretty and stuff like that, and it's really cool. So I'm trying to be careful what I'm showing in here, because I think we can see something in this area that may be considered a spoiler. I'm trying my best to be vague and cryptic. I don't think we can see anything too spoilery in this area, so yeah, we should be fine. But yeah, if we get to a certain point, yeah, that over there, that way up in the distance over there, that giant horn thing, that is the head of the Bionis. So this right here is kind of like the neck of the shoulder blade and things like that. So that's pretty cool. And it's all watery and things like that because there's a bunch of clouds and things like that. And clouds, you know, rain sometimes. So directly underneath this ocean, I believe, is the Machina Forest we saw not too long ago. And a fun detail that I like to point out a little bit more in detail of as we go into the next area is how the sun works in this game. I did not mean to come here. This is Alcamoth, and I can't be here yet. Because reasons. I don't want to be in this area. So let's go over to Valk Mountain. James wrote smiley emojis. This area here, I need to be quiet for because, well, actually, before I do that. No. That's not the button that I wanted to click. Actually, that is the button I want to click. How do I want to edit that? Intermission screen real quick to avoid spoilers. I apologize if you saw anything. Which button is it? Change time. That's not change time. There we go. Okay, there we go. This right here is one of my favorite songs ever. So I'm going to shut up for a moment while we listen to it. So this next subject I'm going to mention real quick is something I don't really talk about ever in videos. but this is just something that I want to talk about since we're here anyway. So, some of you may know this already, but at least it will be the first time I ever mentioned this in a video, but I have autism, and so that's a big reason why I do things like spontaneously sing and things like that, and I quote a lot of stuff. So one of my unique traits is that whenever I listen to music, I usually define that music in my head with a specific word. So this can be things like, let's say, for example, the main theme from Xenoblade Chronicles X, I associate that with triumphant. And things like ebb and flow, that would probably be like party and things like that. This area, with the beautiful nighttime sky, with all these crystals beaming out, with the very relaxing piano music playing in the background, this for me is sleep. So yeah, that's a little fun fact. I don't talk about that much in videos, but that's just something I want to mention because it's usually something I always think about. I listen to this song a lot whenever I'm trying to sleep and things like that. And I also have this on in the background whenever I'm studying or doing programming work and things like that. I've listened to like 30-minute loops of this, like the entirety of the 30-minute loops of this song, like so many times. So yeah, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. So this is making me want to let's play this game even more. It will take forever to plan out. And I'm already doing Breath of the Wild. Alright, so we can see all these beautiful crystal beams of light and things like that. It's just so pretty. This is such a pretty game. And this is where we're going to be ending off the Xenoblade Chronicles segment of this video. I say that as if this is a Let's Play. So, we're going to be returning to the title screen real quick and switching over to Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected. Now, we are not going to be playing through the opening like what we did with this game, because Future Connected opens on a spoiler. A huge spoiler. A lot of huge spoilers. So we're going to just do what we did during the 12 Days of Gaming last year, where we're going to take a simple tour around the Boundless Shoulder while describing some of the fun facts in history and things like that. So switching over to this. Welcome to Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected. And yes, I was playing in casual mode, sue me. And now we're playing through Future Connected. So we're going through this area. I don't remember exactly where we are. What was the side quest we were doing? No active quest. Do that. Okay, so that's what we were doing. It's been a little while since I played Future Connected. So we don't have a whole lot of party members with us this time around. This is not like really meant to be like a big grand epic adventure or anything like that. It's meant to be like a nice simple epilogue, meant to give better closure to Melia. Because that was one of my biggest problems with the original Xenoblade, was that Melia didn't have a lot of great closure and things like that. So trying to avoid spoilers in that department because I could go into a huge rant about that, but I can't because of spoilers and things like that. So pretty much the only characters who return from the main story are Melia and Shulk. Shulk is there because he's the main character and all. And he's really fun in this story, even if he takes a bit of a backseat in terms of plot importance. Melia is definitely the main focus of this campaign, which I really appreciate because Melia is an amazing character. And we also get two Nopon characters who could be in the party with us as well. I usually like having the pink one, I don't remember her name. There's a pink and a green Nopon, I don't like, but the green one kind of annoys me, so I usually have the pink one in my party. So as we go across this area, I was mentioning earlier how I don't really go out of my way to do Collectopedia stuff and things like that. So Where is it? Go here. Collectopedia. This is one area that I did 100%. There's a few more areas beyond this, but the big reason why I went on my way to 100% this one, it's a very silly reason why, but the reward is this outfit for Melia, and the really cool thing is that the outfits you unlock in Future Connected, you can actually use in the main story. So the outfit that we had Melia wear during the main story for this game, you can actually get during the main story. You can only get that in Future Connected. And yeah, to be completely blunt, Melia's hot, so that's a big reason why I went on my way to get this outfit. But anyway, enough about that, because, well, I guess that does lead into one thing I was saying earlier in the stream, because Melia is definitely like my waifu with the Xenoblade game. Overall, though, it's definitely Pyra, but Melia is also a really great character, too. So as we go across this area, we're going to talk about the development history behind Future Connected. So, Future Connected takes place on the Bionis Shoulder, and for those of you who don't know, the Bionis Shoulder was a location that was in the original Xenoblade game, but it only appeared during cutscenes. It only appeared during very specific moments, such as the ending and things like that, but we never actually got to explore it ourselves. So, for years it was speculated that it was supposed to be, well, I'm not entirely sure how to word it, because I think what we said during the gaming gallery was that it was meant to be like a pathway between two story arcs that kind of feel rushed and things like that, but maybe they ran out of development time and budget to finish making it. But that actually turned out to not be the case. What actually happened was that this was the very first map that they made for Xenoblade. They wanted to make as big of a map as possible for the game to kind of test the Wii limitations and see just how big of a world they could actually make with the Wii hardware limitations. So they did that. And that's a big reason why you see a bunch of early development assets in the Wii version of the Bionis Shoulder, because it was early in development. They used the Bionis Shoulder during those cutscenes because they already had those maps ready and they didn't have time to make new ones specifically for those cutscenes, so they already had the Bionis Shoulder finished, so they figured why not. And when they were making the Switch version, when they were remastering everything, they saw an opportunity to use the Bionis Shoulder and address one of the biggest complaints about the original Xenoblade Chronicles was that Melia didn't really have that great of a closer in her story. So they took that time to make a new story campaign as another way to encourage people to try out the new version, even if they played the original, which I do greatly appreciate because I love Future Connected. It may not be grand or epic like the original Xenoblade or even Torn of the Golden Country, but it didn't need to be. Xenoblade already had its already had a good closer to its own story. This is just like a nice and simple epilogue to the rest of the adventure and things like that, so I really like it. Now, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about Future Connected. There's not really a whole lot left that we could show here that we didn't already demonstrate during the 12 Days of Gaming thingy. So, right now, we're going to be going on to intermission real quick as we set up Xenoblade Chronicles X. So, without further ado, I will see you all back here in a moment, probably. So I'm going to be intentionally quiet during the title screen here because I absolutely love the music. Why do you have to remind me of this every single time? Every single time you turn on Xenoblade Chronicles X, it reminds you the Miiverse no longer works. Every single time. Why is this a thing? We get it. Miiverse is dead. It's very depressing. Stop reminding me. It's been years. Alright, so unfortunately we might need to end the stream a little bit early tonight because my baby niece suddenly decided that she is not sleepy. So we're going to probably continue this tomorrow or the day after, most likely this weekend because that'll be easier. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed watching this. I'm very excited for this because I absolutely love the Xenoblade games, and it's always very fun to talk about this stuff. Another reason why I'm calling it quits a little bit early is because we spent like an hour on the first game, and there's like 3 or 4 more things we need to go through to finish all this. So I'll just say that thank you all so much for watching tonight's G8R stream. I'm very excited for Pyra and Mythra for to have the presentation like less than 12 hours from now. It's going to be so exciting. I'm really excited for Pyra and Mythra. And I really hope that we can get a Xenoblade Let's Play on this channel at some point in the future. I would love to work on one someday. It's just going to take a lot of work to make it happen, and we're already doing... Yeah, the stupid hiccups are back. And we're already doing Breath of the Wild, and that took a long time to plan out, so I don't know when a Xenoblade Let's Play could happen. But enough about all that, because next time we do this, we're going to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that's going to be pretty fun. So, thank you all so much for watching tonight's G8R stream, and next time, Lady Gear to you. Oh yeah.